adventure, excitement. Jedi craves not these things.
Well, this didn't take place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was July 13th, 1984, and I was an 11-year-old kid. Was I impressionable? Yes. Could I wait to get my next sci-fi adventure fix? Hell no. And these things I did crave. The world was smoking the Star Wars crack pipe, and every major studio wanted a hit. So Universal Pictures and Lorimar Films Entertainment had an idea. Don't spend thousands on sci-fi models and miniatures. Spend millions on supercomputers. Don't copy Star Wars or Star Trek. Make a sci-fi adventure fantasy about a kid in a trailer park.
Are you retarded?
Yeah, that's what they went with, but there was a hook. The magic of computer-generated imagery. At the time, it sounded like someone was selling you a pyramid scheme.
It's actually from Confederated Products.
But it was glorious. All that was left was a story, a believable hero, and a kick-ass spaceship, and you got your next franchise. The movie flopped. Except for a few nerds just like me, most everyone forgot about it. It became the Clay Aiken of cinematic experiences. Well, after a few decades, it just might look like someone out there is ready to give it a sequel. A recent interview with Lance Guest, the film's lead, reveals that it could be getting that sequel. Could it work? Should they even try? Or just let that one moment in cinematic history rest in peace? Let's find out. The film took place in a gritty, grounded world that rivaled the cantina from A New Hope, a trailer park. Yeah, that's right. It was a community of those lovable trailer park residents, cat ladies, and old drunks, just living their best life. That's except for Alex Rogan. This dude was wasting his time fixing other people's mobile homes like he was a damn trailer park janitor and playing video games all day. That brings me to the video games. You see, he's kind of a video game prodigy.
The fact of the matter is, Bill is the best classic arcade gamer of our era.
Damn, were they serious about their digital entertainment? That's gonna be important later, believe that. He's trying to get the hell out of this galvanized steel prison that smells like old people and septic tanks. But oh no, his student loan got rejected. I didn't even know they could do that. So it's Mediocrity City and mom bitching for him to fix water pumps and TV antennas. His mom even makes him stay behind and work on some old lady's broken shit when his girlfriend and some assholes with a truck just want to go to the lake. Damn woman, let your son get some action for once. That kind of sounds like a serial killer's origin story. But Alex is not that guy. He's a humble, good person with good character and morals, so he doesn't choose violence. At this point, it looks like he's ready to end it all. But then he breaks a high score on this video game he plays. Yeah, I can remember when my brothers and I broke some video game score on Pac-Man or Galaga. We lost our shit. That's when the interstellar carpetbagger Centauri appears to recruit the frustrated dude for a war. You see, that video game wasn't a video game after all. It was a training program that got shipped to the park by mistake. It was there to find a space ace. So he's off to this frontier to be paired up with a gung-ho iguana in hopes of defeating Xur and the codependent armada, or something like that.
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
I love this concept. It's a sword in the stone story, but in space, and the protagonist gets a real hero's journey. Something that modern showrunners could give a shit about. They're too busy loading up the movie with DEI, female empowerment, and race swapping to bother with that.
But it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
But before Alex Rogan could fight Xur, the producer needed to fight for $15 million to make the film. It would be up to Jonathan R. Beatles to come up with a story. Yeah, so sci-fi was everywhere, but so are ideas, and there were thousands of them out there. Supposedly, Jonathan R. Beatles was visiting an arcade. Don't ask why.
Oh, come on!
Just go with it. While there, he noticed this kid was chasing a video game high score. This kid was possessed. Then he thought, what if the video game was a test? And the winner didn't just beat the score and maybe get beat up later for being a nerd. It was a way to find star pilots. It was a way for him to leave his mundane world. Kinda how Gran Turismo did a few decades later. The story was drafted and the studio bought it hook, line, and sinker. Next, they needed a director. A bunch of names were thrown around, including James Cameron. I, for one, can only imagine what kind of dark, foreboding shit the director of Terminator, Aliens, and Piranha 2 would give us. Would we get creature disembowelments, chest bursters, or co-ed murders? Alas, this was not to be, and the studios went with Mike Myers. Well, not exactly Mike Myers, Michael Myers. Okay, so it was the guy who played the killer underneath the William Shatner mask, Nick Castle. So the studio wanted to make a movie full of optimism and fantastic adventure that thrilled kids everywhere by recruiting the Halloween psychopath killer that murdered his sister when he was a kid. Yeah, that makes sense. Next was the choice of the hero. They wanted a no-namer, someone that could act competently enough and have some screen presence, but most importantly, someone cheap. Would it be Back to the Future's Michael J. Fox or Back to the Future's Eric Stoltz? Yeah, Eric Stoltz lost this role to Lance Guest, just like he lost it to Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. That's gotta suck. This guy can't catch a break. At least he was a drug dealer in Pulp Fiction. So after working with Lance Guest in Halloween 2, Nick Castle gave him the role. He had a real kid next door look, and I guess a Starship Fighter Jack? Why not? His love interest would be a girl in the mobile home next door, and the choices range from Jennifer Jason Leigh of Fast Times at Ridgemont High to Ali Sheedy, but the role would go to Catherine Mary Stewart of Night of the Comet, and that's not bad. She was trailer park attractive,
Two trailer park girls go round the outside,
and fit for the part of the sweet yet feisty Maggie Gordon. Now the film had a huge task ahead of it. Forgo creating a bunch of miniatures and film close to half an hour of CGI planetscapes, starships, and flying Lamborghinis with less than the computing capability of CarPlay. This was the only film to do anything as ambitious since Tron, and that movie flopped harder than a possible sequel to Cats. Could they do it successfully and turn a profit? Well, yes, and kinda yes. For this, they used the Cray XM supercomputer. It had a quad processor, a solid-state drive, and 125 megabytes of anemic memory. Shit, man, you couldn't even play Mortal Kombat on it. And the final Death Blossom sequence nearly broke the room-sized paperweight. Lastly was one of the most important aspects of the film, the ship design. It was essentially one of the characters. Screw this up, and your film gets forgotten faster than the careers of Dave and Dave. They needed someone who had some skills, so they got Ron Cobb, the guy who worked on Jodorowsky's Dune, scenes from Star Wars, and the Nostromo ship in Alien. It would go into spaceship lore as the Gunstar. Geeks today still make YouTube videos gushing all over it, so needless to say, they had a winner. It didn't have a battle-worn realistic design like the Millennium Falcon. They were sleek and polished with real video game vibes and surprisingly detailed for its time. Although it's been said that they didn't have enough time to perfect the designs. Yeah, it was time to out-Tron Tron. And did it do that? Well, kind of in some ways. Man, did they have plans. Merchandising, perhaps a whole trailer park action set with drunk people dying a little inside, and plans for sequels that never materialized. The film made $28 million on a $15 million budget. Yeah, the studio was done with Alex Rogan and his gang of Cocoon rejects. Still, there was a growing fan base when the film hit VHS. And they even managed to squeeze out a 3 comic book series before falling into obscurity. That is, until recently. 5 months ago, Lance Best was interviewed by Any Good Films, and he dropped the bombshell heard around his neighborhood. The idea of a new Starfighter film was being pitched to studios. Don't know about a script yet, but a twinkling of an idea. Here's some of the interview.
You know, there is family involved, and there is a portion of it that is on Earth, and a portion of it that is, because that's kind of what the story, that's kind of makes the story, that they're like real people. They're not people from a science fiction universe. They're real people from this world and this universe, and they're doing this sort of extraterrestrial thing. Keeping that contrast, I think, is part of the currency of the popularity of the film. That's all I really know. What happens to them? Are they spend some of their time on Earth, and yes, they have kids, and are they going to be doing some star fighting?
Have you seen the script? I mean, will you be involved in it?
Yeah, absolutely. They have to greenlight the movie first. You know, they don't. It's just kind of useless to talk about a script or speculate about it. You don't know. You know basically what some of their components are and what they could change. Those elements are what make the film what it is.
Is there any kind of progression on it?
There's nothing that I know. You know, if I did, I would tell you. But I know they're working on it. I know they've got a script. I know they're shopping it around. I know they're, you know, trying to get a right fit. There's a desire to sort of preserve what is special about it. You have to be careful, you know, what direction you go with it.
The Last Starfighter is a story that belongs to our generation. It's not perfect, but it's fun and nostalgic. What kid didn't want to be Alex Rogan in 1984? I've watched it many times and enjoyed it when I was a young kid. It's got some great concepts and the trifecta: sci-fi, tech porn, and sex appeal. It may very well belong to the 80s, but so did Top Gun, and we got Maverick, and that's not bad. I don't know what the future holds for the franchise, or how Hollywood would treat such a story. It might not be the best time to bring it back. Hollywood is on the warpath to squeeze all the money out of our favorite IPs until they're a carcass unfit for the modern audience vulture, ready to pounce on anything that doesn't race swap, gender swap, or belittle traditional male characters. Well, let me know what you think. Should they remake it, give it a second part, or just leave a beloved film as it is without trying to piss all over our childhood? Well, let me know. And as always, keep watching movies.